Congratulations on your film and premiering here at DIF. As somebody who knows absolutely nothing about punk, I really felt like I got an education. Tell me how you got involved with this world.
Well, I've been a fan of Fat Records since I was a teenager. It's kind of the music I grew up on, and it stuck with me throughout my life. And the bands, like this band Propaganda, had a huge influence in how I saw politics and social issues and those kind of things. And when I was moving into wanted to do film, I wanted to do a project that I could incorporate something I liked and was passionate about. So Fat Records, at the time I looked, there wasn't any documentaries, and it felt like it was a story that could be told, and I had a unique position to tell it. So it started off as a 20-minute short and snowballed into a feature-length documentary after we had a very successful crowdfunding round for it.
So how did you get everyone involved? Because it seems like, they have this huge following and they probably don't know you. So you come in and you're like, I want to do a documentary about you.
I didn't ask. I just started making it.
That is really punk. You didn't ask.
I was taking it from like the fans' perspective at first, and I figured I could do it that way. And what happened is, as I got certain people, and I put out the first trailer, I got contacted by more people. And before I put out the first trailer, I contacted them and said, hey, I'm going to put this out. And I sent them an email saying, I'm going to put this out. And they said, looks cool. So I was like, I'm probably good to go. But I learned a lot, like making the movie. And at each stage, it seemed like it built on itself. So by the time I got some of the big heavy hitters like Fat Mike, who plays in NoFX, that opened all the rest of the doors because he's like the main guy.
Yeah.
So it was, and Chris Cutler, our producer, really worked the emails and was very polite and asked. And I think the general consensus from all the people involved was they were glad that someone was telling the story. And so that's I just kind of plowed my way into it.
So what was he like day to day, just working with him as you being a director? I mean, because he seems very kind of like, could have a good day or it could be kind of crazy.
He's a great guy. He's amazing. We did 2 major interviews with him, a half-an-hour interview after a show, and that was the first one. And then we went out to San Francisco to do a bunch of other interviews, and then he gave us another 2.5-hour interview, and we hung out, and he took me, I went out to Las Vegas, and he took the time to get to know who I was and kind of see where my head was at. And so he's a very thoughtful, smart individual, and there's a persona that he has, a character I think that he does a little bit, but he takes care of everyone around him, and he treated me with utmost respect and has always been super honest and very genuine.
So tell me about the research for this film as far as like photography and old footage. I mean, how hard was that to get?
Surprisingly easy. It's kind of that same thing, like the people it's a very niche audience that Fat Records has, but they're a very passionate audience. And for instance, I came across some things online of a few archival things from way back in the day, and I reached out, and the guy turned out to have tapes from 93 and 94, and he said to me, I knew someone would come for these tapes. And he sent me like 30 hours of footage, and he was signed off on all of it. He had shot all of it. As a filmmaker, that's a very important thing for the clearances. So.
Yeah, well, congratulations, and it was nice meeting you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.